my name's Nisha and I teach tips, tricks, and tutorials for all things creative. Grab your supplies and let's start. Today we'll be using some watercolor pencils in addition to painting some cherry blossoms. So for reference, let's take a quick look at the petals. Each flower has 5 petals and they grow in clusters. They're usually pinkish, from a light pink to a dark pink. And then they also have little buds that are roundish, and they all grow along a branch, pretty tightly close to the branch. So starting with some light pink paint, I'll just show you a little close-up. I'm putting in the 5 petals for this one blossom and keeping it really translucent to start. And then while it's still wet, I'm dropping in a darker pink right into the center and just let that fan out and bleed on its own. Okay, so just want to show you that one close-up, and then we're going to add in a little branch with some darker brown paint, and just using a smaller brush, go behind the flower and make some thin lines and some thick lines and leave room for the rest of the cherry blossoms. So with that larger brush, putting in some more, just like we did that first one, 5 petals. If you get too much paint, you can rinse your brush and pick up some of that extra water and lighten it up. And then drop in the darker centers. So continuing to add to the branch, put in little buds and smaller flowers, some facing sideways. Keep working your way up the branch and having a few lighter and a few more saturated with color so you get that nice contrast. Cherry blossoms are pretty quick to paint because they're quite a simple flower, and they're a lot of fun because you can use that wet on wet technique. I love watching the color blends happen when I drop in the darker colors. Alright, so now I've got a little bit of a purple brown, a little bit darker, and I'm going over a few of the areas, and where the buds connect to the flower, I'm letting it pool up a little bit and having a little darker spot right there, just to show the new growth on that part of the branch. Alright, so mixing up a little green, we can start putting in a few leaves, just small ones. And I have a little yellow green with a touch of purple in it to tone it down. Okay, once all the leaves are in, we'll let this first layer dry completely and then come back with watercolor pencils. Alright, so I've got a yellow and a green and a detailed brush. There are a lot of ways to do this. What I like to do is first wet that area with my brush and then go in lightly with the watercolor pencil and just add in a little bit of color, and then go back in with that brush with just clean water and blend out some of those edges. I find that when you wet that area with water first, then it's a lot easier to control how much of the watercolor pencil you actually want on there. If you did it dry, it would be harder, I think, to take away the color. So this is a fun way to add a little more warmth onto my petals, so just that little bit of yellow on just a few of the petals is a nice way to bring some more color into the final piece. And now I'm going to go in with the green on some of the leaves, and it's going to be really subtle. I just want to add a few edges. Alright, after that has dried fully, we can go in and add the centers to the flowers. This is just the final detail, a few thin lines and some dots. I'm also going to go in and darken up a few of the bud areas right below the bud where they connect to the stem, just making those a little darker as a final touch. I hope you enjoyed painting along with this quick lesson. It was a tutorial from my Skillshare class called Floral Illustration. It's with watercolor and ink. If you'd like to check out this class or any of my classes, I have a link below in the description that gives you a free 2-month trial. Thank you for joining me and painting along. If you like this, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you next time.